I can see myself buffering already. Oh, anyway, let's take a seat. Where's the best to go? Tell you what. How about we go here? There we go. That way we can watch the sunrise together. Hold on. Let's see if I can make this better. There we go. Let's see if that makes it any better. I don't know. What? Who knows? Anyway, guess. Good morning, good morning, good morning, one and all. And welcome to, a good morning, potentially from Monaco. Briny Bird, greetings to you as well. Greetings to you. Like I say, this might be a bit shorter than usual, potentially, than we normally would. You may have noticed I'm all suited and booted in my finest GA General Assembly. Finally, so we've got some sort of business to do before we do that. So I need to make sure that I have my breakfast because it's going to be a long day and a very, very long meeting today. Certainly here in Monaco about JCI. But as always, guys, like I say, welcome to this wonderful good morning walk, and at least in the background you'll be able to see this absolutely wonderful sunrise that we're experiencing. Although, to be honest, looking at the picture versus reality, it's a very, very much different. It's a lot darker. Jonathan, good morning to you. Nice shirt. Oh, well, thank you. Always good to have a bit of pineapples on the shirt. Like I say, nothing wrong with a bit of business Hawaiian. So, oh my, where to start? Where to begin with this week? Well, right off the bat, at least we can say Rishi Sunak, for once, may have done the right thing. He's sacked Nadeem Zahawi, and now Zahawi is sent back to the backbenchers. So he's demonstrated that he can have the capacity to actually, sack someone when he wants to. But of course, that's the thing, when he wants to. Henrich, good morning from the Netherlands. Good morning to you. And like I say, good morning to everyone else watching us as well. Like I say, sneaking in. Do remember to say good morning in the chat. So, most of what, this sacking, or at least the refusal to sack him, came from the fact he was just such a weak Prime Minister. And we've seen that play out, certainly for the past couple of months, really since he came in. He didn't even appoint his own cabinet. And I think that tells you a lot about really the state of Rishi Sunak's cabinet and potentially who can even go forward and replace him. So I'm pretty confident that yet there is still no replacement, which has kind of surprised me. Because, chairman of the Conservative Party, very, very important position. Because you're responsible for two things. First of all, you've really got to sort of gin up the party. You've got to get out there. And which part of Yorkshire is this Monaco? Is it near Scarborough? Oh no, we're on. Yes, it's yeah. You might be able to recognise it. It's Skeg Vegas. Can you tell? Just looking out across onto the Mediterranean. It's that part of Scarborough. But yeah, I think it shows an incredible amount of weakness, but also sacking a very, very important position when in May we're going to go into a local election, and Nadeem Zahawi would have been pretty much responsible for coordinating the full campaign of that general election. So that was a pretty important position that he had. And so he had a lot of power when it came to campaigning in local elections. Now, we did see in the Times, I think it was the Times, I think I posted it this week, actually, about the possibility of maybe this is how Boris makes his return to frontline politics. It's potentially not beyond the realms of possibility, although I have to say, if you were Sunak and you knew full well that Boris is after your job, he's after his old position back, I can't see why Sunak would put him in that position, especially when he's already indicated he is more than willing to go and cause trouble for Sunak if it means he could boot him out and have his eventual return to office. It's it's very interesting. We'll certainly have to see who the position eventually ends up going to, but even then, I think it also does show another weakness of Sunak has, that he actually can't select his own cabinet. Meaning, I think this position being vacant for at least a week does indicate that there are factions out there saying, we're not gonna settle unless our guy gets in. So I think there is a lot of probably infighting behind the scenes. Jonathan Martin, where's my beach pony? I don't think they have beach ponies in Monaco. Phone box chicken. Hello indeed. Don't forget how Boris was sniping at May when she was PM. Exactly. Boris was, foreign secretary, and he was still attacking May. So, he has, shall we say, previous experience in, political assassinations, so to say. Pretty bird, riding horses on the beach is really fun. Well, I don't know if you can see, but it's a very, very small beach. To be honest, a very, very small beach. But like I say, we are witnessing the sun come up. It's just behind the hill at this point. I don't know if you can see him. So at least we're in for, to be honest, what is a pretty nice sunrise. That's one thing. That's one thing we can be sure about for sure. But onto something else I found out this week. So on my way out here, Baron BM of Monte Carlo. No. Henwich, nice, still dark here. Yep, like I say, well, it is, like I say, should be pretty much sunrise, but I'll tell you what, it is absolutely freezing out here at the moment. Don't get me wrong, it's sort of a very, very sort of nice, calming warm, but when the sun comes up, it gets a bit warmer, but as soon as it goes down, ooh, does it get cold here. Like I said, obviously, we're in February at the moment, so I suppose even in Monte Carlo, it's going to be cold at some point. But yeah, on to another fascinating point that I found out this week. I bought this week's issue of Private Eye, and you may remember one Andrew Bridgenon, one of the MPs who's recently, shall we say, had the whip removed from him for his, interesting comments, shall we say, and we'll leave it at that, because you'll see why in a moment. Because it seems him and potentially Matt Hancock, of all people, might be going into a bit of a legal battle. "7 degrees and still dark in 30 pence Leashire." Yeah. So if you've got your edition this week, you will see this as well. That he is potentially wanting to take Matt Hancock to court. First of all, he wants to have his tweets removed. Hello, David. Hello from Bowler Hat Man. Woo. What are you doing in Monaco? Having an appointment with Nigel Farage. No. I'm out here on JCI. On JCI business. Ta-da! Yeah, out here on JCI business. Like I say, this stream is going to be a bit shorter than usual because I can see into the meeting hall here. They're gearing up for General Assembly soon, so we'll have to, like I say, we'll have to go in there in a bit. But also, I've got to have my breakfast first as well. Make sure I've got that, and then prepare for a full day in General Assembly, which is going to be fun, and have some meetings going on in there. But so one of the other things is where were we? Yes, Andrew Bridgerton versus Matt Hancock. That's it. So Bridgerton wants the tweets that Hancock made removed, but also, interestingly enough, she's also seeking damages of £100,000. They're like, ooh, that's certainly a number. Of course, we don't know if this will end up going the distance. But I'll tell you now, this fight, that'll certainly be an interesting court case. So if this does all kick off, maybe when it all ends, and we get like the after reports of all the nonsense that went on in court, maybe then we'll cover it. But until then, we'll have to see if this does actually end up going the distance. Oh, Phil, good morning. Amazing, not like in Halifax. Like I say, we are out in Monaco. Like I say, I'm representing JCI UK out here in my official capacity as president. So yeah, it's going to be one of the many trips. Well, I say 3 of the trips I'll be making this year. So I'm going to come to Monaco for European Presidents meeting. Then I'm going to go out to Bucharest for European conference, and then I'm going to go to Zurich for the World Conference. Sort of quite lucky that all the conferences here mostly are in here. Sadly, they both can't lose in court. Yeah, well, like I say, in those types of situations, it's there's going to be a winner. But I think if this does end up going the distance, and Hancock doesn't get this dismissed, it could be interesting. Have you seen any Tory over there? No, I have to say I haven't been out and about. Like I say, mostly I've been in meetings. Like I say, generally, like I say, I've generally been in meetings all day today. So I'll just turn around and show you. So over there is where we're going to be having our meeting, in that room there. So I'm basically going to be stuck in there all day. But yes, this is, let's turn around and show you, this is the hotel we're staying at. Wish I had my meetings in Monaco. Well, like I say, see if you can join your local chapter of JCI, and maybe one day you too will be having your meetings in Monaco. So, what can we potentially look forward to this week? That's potentially going to be a very interesting question. In fact, imagine, let's go back to the Zawawi thing. Let's go back to the Zawawi thing, because I think that's sort of could have an interesting consequence. Because, as a lot of people have been pointing out, Sunak fully knew about all these claims that were going on about Zawawi. He had to have known. There is no way no one was telling him, oh, yeah, by the way, Zawawi's got all this, stuff coming up. Maybe you might not be the best chancellor, shall we say, party chairman. So someone had to have been telling Sunak. But this goes back to sort of the issue we said at the beginning, that Sunak did not, or shall we say, was unallowed, certainly by, shall we say, the myriad of factions that now exist in the Tory party, certainly to choose his own cabinet. So he was put in a very, very sort of, you had no room to manoeuvre in even his own selection of his own party, his own cabinet, which is, well, I think defines his weakness in a way. I think that's why we haven't seen a replacement as quickly, maybe normally, as we would have. But yeah, we also have to watch out. What Zawawi going to do? Because getting rid of him potentially is dangerous for him, because other people, I think, have brought it up. What does potentially Zawawi have on Rishi Sunak? Is he potentially going to become a rival, a challenger, and a source of trouble for Rishi Sunak in the future? Because now he's on the backbenches, he will probably be, shall we say, getting very, very cosy, certainly with a couple of these other rebels that are that are going on. And of course, we've got to remember, like I say, we've got to remember that not too long ago, Zawawi was also in, shall we say, contention for the leadership of the Tory party. He wanted that prime role. So, yeah. So that's another potential, shall we say, leadership candidate on the backbenches. But here's another interesting point. Could, and this is a big could Boris Johnson, maybe they end up, joining forces to take down Sunak from the backbenches? It's not beyond the realms of possibility. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but we'll have to see what happens and what Zawawi does on the backbenches. Certainly, he is a potential future candidate. Like I say, he's already run, shall we say, put his hat in the ring once. He obviously failed really to get any proper significant traction, but we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe Zawawi might end up becoming Prime Minister, but of course these, shall we say, tax issues may end up stopping him. Sleazy Johnson's flat out keeping his seat. Yeah, that's another thing. The scuttlebutt around, from what we've seen, is that Johnson doesn't want to potentially keep his Uxbridge seat because he's worried at the next election he could lose it. So there's been a lot of talk that Boris might approach Sunak and go, I want a safer seat. You know, and he might do that in sort of return from, you know, not causing any trouble, shall we say. Oh, Henry, good morning. You're in Cannes at the moment. Well, I'll wave to you over there. Like I say, you're not far away. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, pretty much. Uxbridge is fed up of... they are. Oh, absolutely. I think they are. I agree with you on that. Uxbridge is absolutely fed up of Boris. Certainly this is one of the... waving back. Like I say, enjoy yourself out there, Henry and Cannes. Like I say, we came in from Nice. And certainly, like I say, I've never really been to sort of that area, south down France. So if I ever get the opportunity again, certainly I want to go explore more of, like, you know, South France and things like that. And as I said, because I've been trapped in meetings, I haven't really had an opportunity to really explore Monaco either, which is a bit upsetting, because I think... from what I can see, it's a pretty interesting place, and it's, you know, I think, you know, when you're here and you don't get to visit these types of places, because, like I say, I'm in a meeting all day today, and then I'm rushing off again tomorrow at 7 o'clock, you know, to go grab my flight back to Manchester. So, so yeah, I've had very little to no time. Unfortunately, to be able to go and explore Nice, well, not only just Nice, but, you know, Monaco as well. So maybe one day in the future, I'll you know, take a trip back. We'll come back and we'll see Monaco in a bit more in the future, but definitely on the future travel plans, as they say. For Muxchicken. I can see Boris going for a mid-Bedfordshire if he gets kicked out of his current seat. Mad is due to the Lords, and they've voted Tory for years. I don't think you'll see Nadine Dorries giving up a seat. I do not think she would give up that seat. Do not think she will give that seat up at all. I really don't think she'll give up that seat. I think Nadine Dorries is one of those people who will stay around forever, as they say. Bedfordshire, where men are men and sheep are nervous. Oh. But, yeah, it could be interesting if Boris decides he wants to do that type of deal. Because I think, to be honest, I think, what have you got to lose? I mean, if you're Rishi Sunak and you want, let's say you want 2 years of relative peace and quiet, and you potentially want to, you know, silence a troublemaker, then, you know, maybe giving in to Boris and, you know, giving him that transfer to a safer seat. Oh. You can just hear the seagulls in the background. You know, giving in to certainly Boris and giving him that safer seat in exchange for, I suppose, a bit of peace and quiet. Maybe, but yeah, I can't see Nadine Dorries going. I can't see Nadine Dorries leaving Parliament yet. And of course, like I say, when we get back as well, we've got we'll cover Nadine Dorries's show, which I believe is happening on Friday, I think. I think it's Friday, but we'll see. Oh yeah, also I saw this. Nadine Dorries apparently, again, I think this is in the eye as well. She spent a ridiculous amount on this wine that she's going to have as a bit of a gag, because the wine is called like Baroness Dodds or something like that, and she considers that to be a little bit of a bit. And you're like, yeah, just a bit of a snippet of the shall we say, high class comedy and high class content that Talk TV have paid for. Andrew, give Johnson a constituency to fight in. Say Liverpool or Glasgow. See what he's made of. Oh, yeah. Oh, he'd certainly have a fight on his hands if on those channels. Which TV channel is Dorries' show on Talk TV or GBB's? It's Talk TV. Yeah. And like I say, it is Nadine Dorries is on Talk TV and Jacob Rees-Mogg is on GBB's. So certainly, shall we say, two shows we'll be tuning into, certainly in the future. Oh, that's for sure. Xavier, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like I say, we're out in Monaco at the moment. I don't know, where's the sun at the moment? Yep. Yep, the sun is coming up slowly but surely. Like I say, you can't really see it on the screen. I don't know if it's just the light or whatever, but unfortunately it's not coming off a bit as I was hoping on the screen. But oh well, never mind. These are the things we deal with sometimes. But yes, it's rising nicely over the Med, and yes, it's been a very nice morning. The sun is just rising over your yacht. Oh, I wish. I wish, but no, it's not. No. There we go. Oh, hang on, take on. Let's go. Yeah, let's go like that. There we go. Bit better. Give this hand a rest. So yeah, those two shows. Those are going to be content gold mines. I'm not going to lie. I think the Friday night with Nadine, as I believe it's being called on Talk TV, and her first big interview is with Boris Johnson. That's going to be a put it this way, the softballs in that on that show are going to be more soft than in a children's playpen. I'll tell you that now. The softball questions she's going to field to Boris is going to be interesting, but we'll see if cringe fest. We'll see if maybe Boris lets something slip. It could be one of those shows where maybe the entertainment and, shall we say, the cringe value is sort of a little bit interesting, but not the full reason why we end up watching it. But we'll see. We'll see what it's like. But Jacob Rees-Mogg's show, my word. I've heard that apparently GB News is in a bit of trouble, but I think the prediction I made when it first came out is relatively coming true. That it was only ever really going to last sort of 3 years, or at least the money they had was to last 3 years. We'll see if they can, maybe, shall we say, make it longer than that. Certainly Talk TV, now their main rival, certainly seems to be doing a lot better. I think primarily because, of course, their launch certainly was a bit better. Of course, if you may remember, the infamous launch of Talk TV was not Talk TV, GBBs was shambolic, shall we say, to be clear. HMQ, Talk TV is now a safe space for these grifters. Yeah, absolutely. It's now easily very, very much one of their go-to places. Phone box. Doris will be hilarious for all the wrong reasons. Exactly. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for. And JRM will just be an. Oh, he will be. I really think. I cannot understand why you would give Jacob Rees-Mogg his own show. I mean, the man has absolutely no charisma to lead his own show. I mean, this is a guy who, on Conservative Home, does the Mogcast, and he does it with another guy who called, I think it's, what is it, Will Arnett, or, well, I can't remember, not Will Arnett, not that famous Will Arnett, but it's Will something, can't remember now. And he's like his partner in crime on the Mogcast, and he certainly has a bit more characteristics. Oh, Henry, thank you very much. Have a cafe on me. Well, in Monaco, that's half a glass. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. I got a bit of a shock last night because I just thought, oh, I could really go with like a nice cool lemonade, and it was like €8.50 for a Sprite, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's €8 a pint at the over here, and I'm like, Jesus. But yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Henry. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah, it will probably buy, like I say, she said, half a glass of water. But where were we? Yeah. So this will be an interesting contest, and I think it is right. I think it'll be a massive cringe fest from Dean Doris, and I think Rees-Mogg is going to be incredibly boring. I really think he is. Just why on earth would you do that? Morrison's charge more than that. I would do the Yorkshire how much at those prices. Oh, I did. I did. I let loose the Yorkshire war cry, as we call it. Still cheaper than Quark's beer. Sorry, no story. Still cheaper than Qatar's beer, I think. Possibly, probably. I don't know. I don't know what they were charging for beer in Qatar, but oof, I can't see it being cheap. Can't see it being cheap, that's for sure. Oh, so that will be an interesting to see how that, like I say, turns out. But yeah, honestly, whoever gave Jacob Rees-Mogg his own show, you're gonna get fired. They're gonna get fired very quickly. Is there a Greg's in Monaco? Oh, I wish. I wish there was a Greg's in Monaco. I wish. Oh. But Yeah, I think his show ratings will just plummet. His show ratings are just going to absolutely plummet. Oh, Gnome, good morning to you. I hope Liz Truss goes on one or both of these shows. Oh, I hope she does. I hope she does. Because you've got all the Growth Coalition at the moment, where, I think it's reckoned about, or what was meant to apparently be 40 MPs, but from what we heard about, only 16 actually turned up to the launch. So, 40 down to 16, yeah. And bring back Truss, she's a right, the dream ticket. Oh my God, Nadine Dorries and either, Liz Truss. That'll be an interview. But as I said, I think Nadine Dorries is just going to absolutely just softball these people. And I think, as I believe it was Phone Box, I think as you said earlier, rightly so, it's just going to be a grifter paradise. Oh, come on, your show, and answer all these softball questions. What do we think was going to happen? What do we think was going to happen with these with these programs? They're not going to be the shall we say, the hard hitting places to go for your shall we say, good news content. only the best cringe content, shall we say, served up, I think, on a silver platter. That's for sure. Hang on. You'd rather have the Luftwaffe back than Truss. Well, debatable who did more damage. Debatable. But I think if she ever does an interview, that'll be interesting. Because her growth coalition that she is pushing, still very much haunting the, shall we say, the halls of Whitehall. But there was again, in the Private Eye, actually, this week's Private Eye, there was a piece in there about how one of the, I think the Conservative MPs, didn't say who it was, so it's probably like an off-the-record comment, said that potentially the days of, shall we say, the Tufton Street, maybe not over, but let's say their reputation was being significantly tarnished. So, good, certainly a good move for us in the long run, because obviously it massively discredits the Institute of Economic Affairs, and of course one of the many myriad, shall we say, of questionable, shadowy organisations that happen to base themselves out of course, 55 Tufton Street. So, but yeah, certainly could be it's a massive step forward, the fact that organisation has taken a very big beating. Obviously, the IEA, massive supporter of Truss and what she was doing, probably where all those ideas even themselves initially came from. We've seen a couple of people from the IEA recently on a couple of shows. I think it was Newsnight, where one of them got ripped to shreds, basically saying, why is this person on the channel? Why is this person here? They're being, they shouldn't be taken seriously. Their ideas crash the economy. Yeah. We can only enjoy and embrace the chaos and the cringe right now. Oh, yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. I agree with you there. I certainly agree with you on that point. A lot of craziness going on at the moment in politics. I think potentially it's only going to get worse. as I said, I'm going to be very interested to see who ends up becoming the chairman of the Conservative Party. That could be a very, very interesting, shall we say, appointment. Yeah, £20 billion later, here she comes again, no shame. Oh, it's interesting how she has sort of shuffled off, shall we say, and well, actually, no. The only survivor was Theresa Coffey. And that was actually quite surprising, apparently, because apparently Theresa Coffey and Liz Truss have a very, very rare friendship between them, apparently. They are actually quite close friends, so it is somewhat surprising that she managed to survive on into Sunak's cabinet. But we'll see. We'll see what happens maybe with her. Like I say, maybe her time as at the Department of Environmental Affairs. We'll see what she gets up to. That'll be interesting for sure. And of course, certainly, if the retained EU law bill ends up, shall we say, going through and going the distance, she's already indicated that she wants to cut a lot of farming regulations. Got to hand it to Starmer. He's looking stronger and stronger all the time. Just DTO, whoever the leader. Need more than sugar to make their medicine go down. Oh, that's certainly true. But I think in the next general election, let's talk some GU stuff, because as I said, I think there's very likely probably going to be a general election this year. I think, to be honest, it's going to be Starmer's to lose. If one happens this year, it will be Starmer's to lose. And I think it will come down to what's in the manifesto. Now, what's in your manifesto will be important, but also it will be what the general election is about. And you can never know what a general election is going to be about, well, until a general election happens. Like I say, we all remember sort of Theresa May and her very much disastrous 2017 campaign. People will forget. Everyone classed that as this is meant to be the big Brexit election, but it turned out not to be so. So, yeah, that could certainly be interesting. Certainly will be about the economy. That is one prediction. Maybe a massive part will be about the cost of living. I think you'll get the energy crisis. I think trying to bring down inflation, or the plan to bring down inflation. Maybe sort of, Labour's versus the Conservatives. Who's got the best plan? I think ultimately will be the big thing that gets sort of talked about, and probably a lot of airtime in it. So ultimately, I think the next general election is going to be interesting. And of course, as we said, the best case scenario is that these polls are right, that we do see a complete, wipeout of the Tory party, with them being left with barely just about 100 seats. If that turns out to be true, that will be a fantastic election result. Andrew, could there be a GE this year? The Tories are hopelessly divided. The longer this goes on, it's worse for them. Absolutely. And it is that division. That if you're staying in the UK this summer, Booker, it is that division in the party that will also hurt them at a general election, because people do not vote for divided parties. And we've seen in a lot of the recent by-elections, Cheshire and Amersham was a perfect example of where you had those planning laws, those planning regulations that the Tories wanted to loosen, and Cheshire Manisham revolted over it. That became the main issue in a local election, and that's not normal. It's very, very rare that something like that becomes the big defining issue. And of course, that's what led to sort of the Lib Dem win down there. And of course, they're hoping to replicate that certainly at the next general election. Can they win more seats down in the blue wall at the next general election? It's possible, but we'll have to see. So, anyway, there we go. Stumbled a bit there. Well, as you can see, it's shaping up to be a fantastic morning in Monaco, though I won't get to experience it myself. Like I say, I'm going to be trapped in a room in a meeting probably all day today. So unfortunately, I won't get to get experience to sort of, should we say, lounge about in the sun. Like I say, I've got work to do, as they say. So as always, as they say, we'll take this fantastic view. I hope you've enjoyed watching the sunrise with me and talking some politics, as always. Quite interesting. But like I say, I'm going to go have my breakfast and get ready for this General Assembly. So, as always, like I say, here we are in beautiful Monaco. Beautiful, picturesque view. And of course, have an absolutely fantastic time. And I will see you all next week back in the usual good old Yorkshire place, not from Monaco next time. But as always, guys, like I say, we'll see you all there next time. Like I say, links down below. Remember to press the like button on your way out. And of course, as always, guys, if you can't be safe, be sensible, and have an absolutely fantastic weekend wherever you are, and enjoy yourselves, guys. So as always, we'll see you all very soon.